on top of the plate, and every now and then it'll cause it to misfire a little bit.
There you go, 160 laps, 400 miles, pit road speed, 55 miles per hour. I will guarantee you these things will be a key tonight when you look at how many pit stops they have to make.
Here's our first singular virtual crew chief question. Will Jeff Gordon tie Dale Earnhardt's record for restrictor plate wins tonight? To answer, text the word crew to 191 on your singular wireless phone or log on to foxsports.com/singular. Some threatening weather here. We don't really expect rain, but those big anvil clouds, thunder boomers, were enough to delay the launch of the space shuttle today, scheduled for this afternoon, and it would have been the first time that the space shuttle had launched on July race day here in Daytona. They'll try again tomorrow afternoon. What's it like going around this 2.5-mile pressure cooker at 180+ miles per hour? We asked some of the top drivers in Nextel Cup racing.
It's a 190-mile-an-hour traffic jam that it's like being inside a professional game of chess with 43 players.
You're in awe of the banking of the corners, the speed of the cars, and then how close we are. I mean, we're inches off of one another, doing 190 miles an hour, you know, drafting back and forth.
Constant action. There's something going on every lap. 2 wide, 3 wide. The draft is so important. Handling is so important. You see cars that can't handle well. You see them that do handle well. A lot of side-by-side action.
It's the track for NASCAR in Daytona. I was lucky enough to win the 500, and hopefully I can go down and win the 400.
One of the things that the guys didn't talk about is how bumpy or how rough this track is. Got a lot of swales in it. Those dark black places in the racetrack, those are skid marks. The car's tires skipping along. It makes those real dark places on the racetrack. Zippity-doo-dah, Dave.
Sure, this is 100 miles shorter than the February race, and yes, it's run at night. But how else is racing here in July different?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is the heat. Of course, at night, I mean, we're not going to have that beaming sun like we have in February, but the track's been laying here in the sun all day long. That asphalt is hot, and it is slick.
David Pearson, 5 victories in what was then the Firecracker 400. Cale Yarborough won this race 4 times. Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon, Richard Petty, and Fireball Roberts 3 times each. Who will etch their name into the record book tonight?
Well, DW, for the final time, NASCAR on Fox 2006, but it's going to be a big old Saturday night party. Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys.
It's amazing. Every time I say that, they take off.
Off turn 2, no advantage. Looks like the pace lap, only 3 times as fast.
Guess who would like to lead this first lap the most?
That man we're looking at right there in that 20 car. Get those 5 bonus
points and get it done. We only led 151 laps here last year in this race, and he's got the advantage off turn 4.
They look just like they did when they took the green flag. Only difference, 190 miles per hour. Tony Stewart in the 20 will lead that lap.
Boris said the pole sitter in the 60 was one of the cars that had to qualify for this race on time. He had a full qualifying setup under the car. Frank Stoddard, as crew chief, called it an extreme qualifying setup. Does that mean he won't be as good in the race as the drivers who were locked in?
Well, remember the car right behind him, David Strimmy in the 40 car, same situation. You would tend to believe they'll be okay on fresh tires, but the handling could deteriorate as the car starts sliding around on older tires.
Oh yeah, I'd love to have my qualifying set in for about 10 laps. After that, woe be unto you.
Here comes Seth to the bottom, challenging Stewart for the lead. Give it to Tony by a car length.
But let's give credit where credit's due, that 60 car. That is a Roush car and a Roush Yates engine, so it's a good package with Boris said.
But Let's also give credit where credit's due. How many restrictor plate races has the driver been in?
Not that many.
A couple, and that's it.
It's Borisset's third Daytona start.
Just saw Matt Kenseth in the 17 car. Remember the report, possibly a carburetor problem. Everything looks pretty good right now on this 17 car.
Drivers can be a little finicky at this race. Everybody's a little uptight when you get ready to start this race. So you imagine a lot of things that are really not happening.
At this race, how about 36 races?
And then you imagine a lot of things that are happening.
Whoa,
like
Stremme.
wide. Oh, that's not good for Stremme. He's got to give that spot back.
3 wide at the line, and Stremme might have dipped 2 tires below the yellow line.
And you see behind him, he's backing everybody up because he knows he's got to give that spot back, and he did.
That's the rule. As long as you give it back, no harm, no foul.
NASCAR may take into account whether or not the driver was forced down to the inside.
Oh,
Watch that silver number 40.
I think he chose to go there. You can see right there, he had enough room. He stayed off of Boris pretty good, but he did go below. But if you notice, he slows down. The guys behind him back up a little bit, and he lets him back in front of him. No harm, no foul.
And that will save him having to make a drive down pit road at just 55 miles an hour in penalty. Kyle Busch and Mike Wallace coming up the outside in that pack in the outside lane. Among the dark horses, count Mike Wallace.
Mike Wallace was another one of those cars, the James Finch car. The one car had to qualify on time. Same deal. Car bought from Yates with a Roush Yates engine in it.
That's the 09 of Wallace, the only of the 3 Wallace brothers in tonight's race.
2 wide, help in your mirror, 18.
Looking out the side window of the 48 car, Jimmy Johnson, looking over at Kurt Busch, who's looking over at Kenny Schrader, who's looking over at nowhere to go.
At the wall.
Rookie, we got to get out of here.
Good luck.
Find me a hole.
Yeah, good luck.
And you'll hear the spotters get excited. You'll hear us get excited about 3 wide. The racetrack's plenty wide for 3 wide, but you heard DW talk about very bumpy. These cars start moving around. That's what causes a big one.
There's a couple of huge bumps. One just as you start off turn 2, the car gets really upset, and up high off of turn 4, where the tunnel is, there's a big bump.
Tonight at Daytona will be the largest fireworks display in the entire Southeast this weekend. We hope it's the one after the race.
Well, we hope it's the one that's planned.
Right.
Looking back at Jeff Burton in that 31 car, this is a backup car. He was one of the cars that had a problem in practice. 4-car crash, had to go to a backup car.
And Mike, you asked me in the opening, who would I want to be behind? Who would I want to follow? The 2 guys at the front are the class of the field. The question in my mind is, can Dale Earnhardt work his way up there and have that magic he had last night? But you see that yellow car, the 3rd place car, and that orange car leading up there? They may have a little issue. Remember down here in February. Hopefully they put that behind them.
Kenseth and Stewart got together on the racetrack. Harsh gestures.
And right behind Kenseth, we see Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s teammate. We're looking at him right now, Martin Truex Jr. in that 1-car rookie up there in the top 5.
7 laps in, and still a lot of 3 wide racing as David Stremme drifts toward the back and caution comes out. You won't believe it. There's a beach ball. We're at Daytona Beach. There's a beach ball on the back straightaway.
Dadgum.
Have you ever?
Look at that. There it is. Does it have boogity, boogity, boogity written on it? Surely not.
Boy, Greg Biffle and Scott Riggs getting together off the corner.
And that's classic Daytona exit of the corner. The car just throws to the outside.
All of our Fox commentators had a swing at favorite memories of 2006. We'll show you some of them this evening, beginning with Chris Myers.
first half of the season, it's hard not to notice Tony Stewart's toughness. Breaks his shoulder blade at the Coke 600, needs a relief driver the next race. The race after that goes 500 miles in Pocono. Then at Michigan, his car wrecks early. He's out there hammering away, working on it. That's a mentality, a warrior mentality that any athlete in any sport could appreciate.
Shannon, you make the call. If their tire changes jump out, we're taking right sides. If their tire changes don't jump out, we're taking gas only. You can run with him. He seems pretty fast, and he's usually pretty patient at these places.
Yeah, if we get back in traffic, tires are going to be an issue, but up front here, you know, it's pretty good.
When you see that 20, you just say tires or no tires, Shannon. Tires, gentlemen, we'll be taking 2 tires. And remember, the guys on the front, they're going to hand that gun off there, Jeff, so just watch the tire carrier.
So the right front changer will stay there.
The right front tire changer won't get up.
Info. Coming to pit road.
Come on with him. Come on with him. All right, Shannon. 4. 100, second gear.
They may just take right side tires. They're definitely going to raise the track bar because he says his race car is loose. Just right sides for Kenton. Dick.
Tony Stewart, not surprisingly, is very happy with his race car. He is going to take outside tires, fuel, and that's it. He's done already. Matt.
Top right of your screen, Jeff Gordon smoking slightly into his pit box as the one of Martin Truex is already away. Right side tires. The car was just a tick on the tight side.
A couple of fellas really need that pit stop, noticeably Boris Said and David Stremme, trying to adjust from qualifying setup to race setup.
You see the race off pit road there. I think Jimmy Johnson, Chad Knaus, the 48 car we're riding with him, elected to go with 4 tires. That's the reason he lost those positions. This is a time on pit road, including the stop. Martin Truex Jr. in that group. Greg Biffle, his team, prevailed.
9 laps complete. First caution flag of the night in Daytona.
We did a very solid stop there. Good job. 1 to go, Junior. Just, can you give me a water temp now while we just got a break? Yeah, 200. All right, 10-4. Coming to the green this time.
It drifted right into the side of, who was that he hit there coming off turn 4, Mike?
Scott Riggs.
Scott Riggs.
Said, not Greg Biffle.
Right. Boris is the one that got into the side of Riggs. The car looked like it was just in a four-wheel drift.
Lights out atop the safety car will go green to begin lap 12.
Now, all 43 cars made a pit stop. David Stremme actually stayed out an extra lap in that 40 car to lead a lap. Martin Truex Jr. is leading some of his first laps of the year. Earlier in the year, he led 2 laps, and that was it until tonight.
All cars on the lead lap, single file restart as you watch them come up to speed.
And it takes about a full lap with that carburetor restrictor plate that has the horsepower way down to get up to full speed. Almost a full lap around this 2.5-mile track.
Mike Wallace on the bottom trying to get past Denny Hamlin leading that second pack. And Wallace does make the pass.
Yeah, you're not going to get away from anybody here. You might get a little gap on these restarts or after pit stops like we just had, but you're not going to get away. These guys will get lined up back here behind them, and they'll pull right back up to the lead pack.
Because right now, our top 7, after completing 1 lap after the restart, they are lined up in the way the draft works, and now they're no longer lined up. There goes Greg Biffle in the 16th, the outside, trying to take the lead. But as long as you're lined up, that's the best way through the air, and you can pull away from cars running side by side.
But that right there is another reason why you won't ever get away from anybody very far, because nobody's going to stay single file very long.
Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart pull up.
Try to lead one back here, and it won't be in good shape.
Pull up behind Biffle. Greg Biffle, the new leader. Gordon in second. Here's Matt.
Gordon on the high side in the 24 car. He was tight on exit right before the caution. This is the conversation between Jeff and his team.
Mr. Stewart says he's just as happy following us as we were following him.
Ford, does he want to ride, or does he want to try to get back to the front?
If I know him, I would assume back to the front.
And that's where they're starting to go now. Gordon says he needs to keep his car up front. It runs so much better out front like he is right now aerodynamically. So that's what he's trying to do.
And you fight a car not turning here. And when your car's not turning, when you can keep that front end out in clean air, it's getting maximum downforce on the nose and will help it turn off the corner.
Quite honestly, I never had any car that didn't run better out front.
Runs cooler, runs better.
It even looks better running out front.
Elliott Sadler fighting on the inside to gain a spot from Greg Biffle. Looks like that inside line is working down against the yellow line. The short way around, shorter, J.J. Yaley told us yesterday, by 387 feet than if you rim ride around the wall all the way around.
You heard Jeff Hammond and I talking about the mirrors in the cars. And, buddy, you better have some good mirrors when you start getting people all back up behind you like we see right here. Two very critical things you got to have here. Great spotter, great mirrors.
Looking out at Kevin Harvick in the 29 car, he started back in the 32nd position. He's already moved up into the top 10.
Where's last night's runaway winner, Dale Earnhardt Jr., 25th. Remember the trouble off the corner, car on the inside, Burton. Jeff Burton spins and recovers.
But the good news is, as you can see right there, Darrell, you've talked about this a lot. There should be no grass on the inside of a racetrack. If there had been grass there, it would not stop till he hit the inside wall.
It wouldn't have stopped when he quit flipping.
Left front's down, but watch the orange 31.
Got to believe he might have gotten a little tap over there. Let's see if we can find out here.
It's almost like he checked up a little bit as he was running up on Dave Blaney in the 22 car.
Yeah, Casey Mears was just coming, and Jeff Burton there in the 31 had to check up a tad, and he got bumped.
Oh, Darrell. Deja vu all over again. Jeff Burton and Casey Mears.
Yeah, same two cars that had trouble in practice.
In this case, Burton's trying to stay off Dave Blaney. And Casey Mears gets in the back of him. Look what happened in practice when Jeff Burton cuts down a tire. Look who the other two cars involved are.
And again, everyone was a victim in this situation right here. This was in the very final practice. Jeff Burton cut a tire down. Casey Mears nowhere to go. Dave Blaney, there was nowhere to go for him, ran into the back of J.J. Yaley.
And that's his backup car that he's in right now.
Caution is out the second time tonight.
No matter what these guys do behind me, right?
10-4. We got some right here that are staying with us for sure, so stay out.
We got a bunch of them are staying with us, I think.
Well, we got a couple, is all we're going to need to pit with us under green. Yeah, that's perfect. Perfect right there. All right, bud, do you have any edginess in with the guys behind you giving you enough pushes, or is it still just tight middle off?
They're right up on me, yeah, a little bit, getting in.
Your biggest complaint is the middle off, though.
10-4.
4.
Daimler, Benz, and Chrysler.
Dog's going to be coming to your outside. He's coming to the travel now.
number 61 tonight?
Chad Chef.
10-4.
One to go. Next time at the line. One to go.
Make sure you get that stuff to lay down good on there. I don't want it coming off. Hey, Rock, let us know where the pace car is, okay? Info.
Remember, we're going green this time, guys. Yeah, no.
Better out front. Well, he's out front. Why would you come in right now after a few laps? We only got 13-gallon fuel cells in these cars. So fuel is a premium, more so than tires right now.
Yeah, you figure 9 laps is about a fourth of a run. They can run about 35 to 38 laps on fuel.
You see that unique mirror on the right side of the interior in Jeff Gordon's car, something he has worked on for over a year to perfect.
It's right in here. This is a new deal, and I don't think there's another car out there that has that additional mirror. And you can see, look through it, and you can see what he sees cars behind him over on his left side.
Yeah, he's using about 3 mirrors. He's using those 2 mirrors, plus he also has a mirror on the left side of the A-post, plus his spotter.
And there's a little look at the added mirror out there by the left A-post. It's our final event on NASCAR on Fox for 2006. We pulled out all the bells and whistles, including a new feature in the Hollywood Hotel, the Vice Presidential Suite.
Nice to have the Vice President of the United States, Dick Cheney, and you saw him address the crowd. Thanks for being with us, sir. Nice to see you're in good health.
Good to be here. Yeah, the doc signed off on me for another period of time here. So.
All right, so good enough to attend the race. You ever address a crowd that big before?
I was just thinking 140, 150,000 people. That's probably the biggest crowd I ever spoke to live. Yeah.
And your first, you've been to the track before, but
yeah,
your first
it's the first time I've been, to a live NASCAR event. I've watched it, of course, on television like everybody has, but it is an awesome, awesome undertaking. Just the sheer size of the crowd, the energy, the complexity of what goes on in the pits and with the teams and the crews. There's so much to learn about the intricacies of the sport. It's really something.
Well, no, right now we're getting ready to go back to a green, so you get an opportunity to see what a restart's going to look like, at least from the Hollywood Hotel. But earlier today we were talking about cars, and you shared something with me I thought was really kind of unique. You haven't driven a car in 7 years yourself.
Yeah, it's a bummer. It's the morning that the president, then governor, announced that I was going to be his running mate, the Secret Service showed up outside my door. And I haven't driven since. They take over. They do it for security reasons,
yeah.
and so it's understandable, but it's very frustrating.
Now Air Force Two, you get to travel around. What was your first car, Vice President?
First car I ever owned was a 1949 Chevrolet, and I drove it for a few months, and then the engine blew up on me, and I got $25 for the radio.
You've done well since. You must be overwhelmed by the support of patriotism at an event like this, especially around the 4th of July holiday weekend.
It is. It's a remarkable period of time. I got to spend some time with the troops today. One of the great things about NASCAR is the extent to which the drivers and the crews and the owners have been involved in supporting the troops. A lot of the drivers have been to Afghanistan, Iraq, been out and seen the troops in the field. I know oftentimes they get to Walter Reed or Bethesda, where the guys are that have been wounded and coming home, and that's deeply, deeply appreciated. But there's a symbiotic relationship there, a mutual admiration society between the young men and women in our military who love NASCAR and NASCAR who pays the support and the loyalty.
Speaking of that, I had an opportunity to watch you. You got an opportunity to meet Ken Schrader, who drives the Air Force car, and I mean, he's quite a character.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of characters in this business.
What did some of the drivers say to you when you got to meet them? They ask any tough questions?
Well, no political questions. They were all very nice. I got to go to the drivers' meeting at the beginning of before the race today, and then visited with the service-sponsored cars, especially Army, the National Guard, and the Air Force. And but they're down-home people. I mean, they're very straightforward, no pretense. Everybody's measured by how they perform out here on the track. So it's a meritocracy.
And nearby Cape Canaveral, the space shuttle delayed until tomorrow because of weather. I guess you were going to go see.
Yeah, we were there, went down, wanted to see the launch. I saw launch 20 years ago, but they were going to launch today. They got a last-minute bad call on the weather, but they'll try again tomorrow.
And I know you've worked in Washington. A political answer, I expect. Who you're rooting for to win tonight's race as you watch?
I'm going to be a nonpartisan.
Good answer.
I'm not going to get into that.
All right, well, it was a pleasure having you here, and thanks very much for stopping by.
Good to see you guys. Enjoy the show.
Let's rejoin Darrell, Larry, and Mike upstairs.
The great broadcaster Ken Squire often described these drivers as common men doing uncommon things, like running around here at 190 miles an hour, closer together than most people apart, as now Jeff Gordon is trying to fend off Matt Kenseth, Gordon's teammate Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, Kyle Busch, and Brian Vickers. That's all 4 Hendrick cars in the top 6 spots.
I thought the Vice President, Jeff, and I got to show him around the cutaway car, the cutaway engine, and all the things that we have over there. If Jeff has over to work with, he was really intrigued by the simplicity of the engine, carburetor, no turbocharger, no fuel injection, and how safe the cars, how strongly the race cars were built.
Tell you what, this group behind our top 5, they are plotting, trying to figure out how they can get up there and maybe make a run on this group up there. Tony Stewart has been weaving in and out of traffic for about the last 3 or 4 laps. Tony in the 20 car.
Larry, none of those cars are willing to go single file. Maybe they'd have a chance to catch that lead pack. For the lead, challenge to the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Matt Kenseth trying to lead for the first time tonight.
Yeah, and it's way too early to think single file, man. We got a lot of races. Let's race right now.
And right now, at first, Matt Kenseth in the 17 didn't have a lot of help. Now he has his teammate Greg Biffle in the 16 trying to get up there to push him to the front.
Oh, I think I like that lineup on the outside.
Teammates.
24, 48, and hello there, Mr. Vickers in the 25. And we saw those guys work so well together at Talladega.
Kenseth has company coming. That other yellow car, the subway machine of Greg Biffle, is Kenseth's teammate if he can just get to the 17.
I tell you, of all the cars running up there in the top 10 or 12, the one right now I'm the most impressed with, they didn't even make a stop on that last caution. That 09 car on the inside, the black car, Mike Wallace. Remember, a go or go homer, they didn't make any adjustments to that car on that first pit stop. Tires and fuel, no stop the last time. Here they are up there in the top 10.
Well, I'll tell you another guy, Larry, that's trucking along pretty good, and I feel pretty good about his chances tonight, too, is that yellow car there, 4th in line on the outside, Elliott Sadler in the M&M's car. They got a little pep in their step this weekend. That car's been running great.
Coming off of a good run at Infineon last week, finished in the top 10.
And right behind Sadler, that AAA Ford, Mark Martin, who now lives in Daytona Beach, has never won a NASCAR points race at this speedway, and this is his final try. Martin retires from Nextel Cup Racing at the end of this season.
But he has been in every restrictor plate race. He, Michael, and Kenny Schrader have run all 74, I think it is, restrictor plate races.
Yeah, he holds a record for a 500-mile race at Talladega, caution-free, I think, in about 2.5 hours.
How did you vote on our singular virtual crew chief question? 3 out of 10 said yes, Jeff Gordon will win tonight, tie Dale Earnhardt's record for restrictor plate wins. 7 of you said somebody else. Fox congratulates Russell Tilson of Virginia Beach, Virginia. He's going to win Jeff Burton's payday tonight in the singular virtual crew chief sweepstakes. Matt Kenseth's stay at the front was short-lived at the outside lane. Hooked up and went on. 3 Hendrick Chevrolets and Tony Stewart in the Joe Gibbs Chevy. holding sway right now in Daytona with 27 laps complete.
About 2.5, double file behind all your way back. He's tight, he rolled back to the top court. File all the way back. Behind you all the way back. One back and double file. Get on the radio to do what you need. It's pretty tight. File 3 back, double file.
Yellow, not tight. Front you anyway.
File 3 back, and there's a gap of about 3.5 cars and double file. You're off at 2, then I do off at 4. Clear low, 07 in your mirror. Back.
He's fourth in line.
Now Johnson just gave up a spot to Elliott Sadler, who has brought his Ford to third.
Matt Kenseth in the 17, he has found his teammate Mark Martin in the 6, and they're trying to make a move back to the front.
The blue ovals are going to overtake the bow ties here the way it's looking.
Now the Fords are 3rd, 5th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 11th. That 11th place car is the red one, the 99 of Carl Edwards. He and Jamie McMurray, who's made a huge charge through this field, have come up to battle for top 10 spots.
Yeah, we were seeing 4 Roush cars run together there. Talk about Carl Edwards, a lot of redemption for those group at Daytona. Finished dead last after being caught in an accident in the Daytona 500.
Haven't seen much of the Dodgers to the front. Bobby Labonte is 12th. Kurt Busch is 13th. But Busch in the number 2 may have a problem. Dick?
He ran so well in the Daytona 500, Mike. He was in the top 5 for virtually the entire day until the very end when he was struck from behind. Kurt Busch, a DNF in that event. This time, trouble early. They think they have got a battery going bad. That's usually not just the battery. Ordinarily, that is a charging problem. Busch with electrical problems.
You're making power, man. You're doing good. Just keep doing it. We're going to get you fixed up here.
This is Crew Chief Roy
We need
McCauley.
to stop for a battery, Ren.
They can change that in how long, Larry?
They can do it easily here under caution because a caution lap here is well over 2 minutes. Everything's on quick disconnects. They could easily change it, but they will need a caution to do it.
And Steve, what's the issue with Matt Kenseth, who is currently 5th?
Mike, the good news is that the problem with a carburetor has gone away. The bad news is Matt just reported he's got a little bit of a vibration in the right front. He thinks it might be a loose wheel.
Yikes. I wouldn't have to think about that very long. Little tap here. That's acceptable bump drafting.
Now, all of these cars we're riding with, including Matt Kenseth in the 17 car, they're within about a 10 to 12 lap window that they're going to have to make a green flag stop. Remember, they did not stop on that last caution.
One car out of the race. Kirk Shelmerdine, the independent driver. His Cat Daddy Chevrolet has gone to the garage. Kirk finished 20th in the season opening Daytona 500. 36 laps complete. Tony Stewart on point in Daytona.
So, Mr. Chan, you want to make a sequel with My Client Diet Pepsi? Lots of action, lots of stunt.
Here he's coming on good. Brown, double file behind you. Inside, inside. Double file behind you. Around, double file behind you. File, still double file. Double file behind you. File, double file behind you. Five, will come up on your deck lid here. File, double file behind you. He's working 1 lane higher. Right behind you now, clear by 2. In the bottom. the bottom again. Clear by 1. 9638. Four car lengths back to the 01 and the line of cars single file. Clear low. Two by two behind you now by 3 car lengths still. Junior 12 cars on the bottom. Still clear all around by 3 car lengths. About 4 over the 12 car. Two car lengths back to the 12. He's on the bottom. You're still clear all around. Car length back to the 12 now. He hasn't really committed to a lane, June. Oh, car back bumper. Clear low, you have help. Clear all around, 12 on your back bumper. Side, inside, 22 car behind you. City Junior, you're clear low.
Here's some cars coming in under green. Bobby Labonte, Ryan Newman, and Mike Wallace coming to pit road.
Now those are all Dodges, so that makes me wonder if maybe the Dodges are not getting quite as good a fuel mileage as the Chevrolets and the Fords.
We're told to expect our leader, Tony Stewart, on pit road next lap. Now, if you're Jimmy Johnson, do you come with him?
Look, this is smart move right here. Did you see Tony Stewart waving way down the backstretch? Hey, I'm going to pit road. But remember, green flag stops, a huge opportunity for a mistake by the driver speeding because you've been out there over 180 miles per hour, or a mistake by the crew. Looks like Jimmy Johnson in the 48 is going to follow him. It's going to be tough to make it there. There comes Mark Martin, Elliott Sadler, and he gets woed down. Has to be at 55 miles per hour by the time they're at that cone right there.
Jeff Gordon's in, so is Vickers, Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch, and more. Steve.
Mark Martin making his 43rd point start here at Daytona, says his race car is just a little bit tight. Todd Ziegler and Jake Seminar are the tire changers. No other adjustments to the number 6, Dick Berggren.
Moments ago, Tony Stewart told his crew, we got us a piece for tonight. We got something good, end quote. Matt.
Dick, we've already made a chassis adjustment and track bar adjustment on the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. His car way too tight. Not bad. You did see him smoke the tires on entry.
Clint Boyer, Kenny Schrader, and Joe Nemechek also stopped on that lap. Here comes Carl Edwards and 6 more behind him. These are scheduled green flag stops. Kenseth's in. Biffle is also in. McMurray along with Harvick and Casey Kane. Steve?
Mike, Matt Kenson says his car is just a little bit on the tight side. They're going to take 4 tires this time, 2 tires on the last stop. Just a small air pressure adjustment in the right front tire, Matt Yoakum.
And you can see Eric Slade, the catch cam man, holding the can. Now, his car was definitely tight on the first run. They made an air pressure adjustment. Really helped. The 99 of Edwards had a strong night last night, and he's away.
For a set, the pole sitter also stopped on that lap. Robbie Gordon has led a lap here in the Pepsi 400 in his Harrah's number 7. Robbie's a fellow who lives it on the edge. He races in Baja. He races in Nextel Cup. He once almost won the Indy 500. And for relaxation, he has an 1,100 horsepower speedboat.
And Robbie Gordon, the 7, Dale Jarrett in 88, they actually made their pit stop on lap 17. They should be able to go another 7 to 8 laps.
1,100 horsepower, and he's not afraid to use it.
And let's look and see what it looks like to be going from 185 miles per hour and try to get down to 55 miles per hour. You can see pretty much everyone except Tony Stewart locking the brakes up. You've got to make the commitment cone. And right there, you've got to be to 55 miles per hour.
One thing you got to be careful of when you're coming down there smoking that right front like that is you don't blow it out and tear the fender off the car. So got to use a little bit better judgment getting on pit road.
Now this is a battle for the lead right here. Robbie Gordon in the 7, Dale Jarrett in 88, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car. This is a scheduled stop for him. These are all scheduled green flag stops.
Dale Jarrett came in here 23rd in points, trying to lead a lap and pick up the bonus points.
There.
Matt?
Right there.
And Junior also smoked him into his pit box, led 32 laps in the Daytona 500 and finished 8th. The chassis adjustment's already completed. They over-adjusted on the first stop. They backed up on that. The car's still way too tight on the last stop. Significant track bar adjustment, 14.4 seconds for Junior.
Dave Blaney, Scott Riggs, and Jeff Green also stopping on this lap.
You know, one thing I noticed about Tony Stewart, talking about Jimmy Johnson behind him, smoking the tires, locking them up. Tony Stewart in the IROC race here on Thursday night, he was the only guy in the whole IROC race I watched that never smoked the tires with the brakes on. You know what? And he's a great road racer. He's got a really nice technique for getting on and off those brakes and not locking up the wheels.
We talked about pit crews prevailing. When it all cycles through, this will be the lead group here. Tony Stewart in the 20, Mark Martin in the 6, Jimmy Johnson in the 48, Elliott Sadler in the 38.
Pit stops continue with J.J. Yaley and Tony Raines on pit road at lap 49. And Dale Jarrett is the new leader of the Pepsi 400. Before tonight, Jarrett's number 88 had only led 3 laps this year.
And he's driving with a broken hand.
Up.
Boys, start racing up there. We're a little bit too tied up off, guys.
Oh, too tight up off. Our back is about 3 cars, be to 17, and then the 12. Starting to catch about a half a second a lap. Team behind you, and then about 5 car lengths is 4 more.
There you go, Felix.
As a car owner, Felix Sabates nearly won the Daytona 500 with Kyle Petty, and then sold a majority interest in that team to Chip Ganassi.
There's nobody I know of in racing that tell more funny stories than Felix Sabates.
Yeah, and he's in most of them.
He was a part of all of them.
That's right.
Right now, it looks like our top 11 cars, all the way from Tony Stewart in the 20 back to Matt Kenseth in the 17 car, they're all within about a second and a half. You can see the line right there. They pretty much have broken away from the rest of the field after this cycle of green flag pit stops.
Well, there have been 8 night races here at Daytona, and there have been 7 different winners. Jeff Gordon's the only one that's won twice. A couple of guys sitting up there wouldn't mind adding their name to that list. Happen to be running second right now. He'd like to get a win here at Daytona.
And look at the 7 cars that have broken away. With the exception of Kyle Busch, they're all pretty much veteran drivers with proven winning teams. Every one of those would be included among your favorites for tonight, both drivers to watch and teams to get the job done.
It's all about resources. If you got enough resources, you can put a lot of good horses out here.
"56 laps complete. Tony Stewart the leader. Mark Martin right on his bumper." Here's Dick Bergman.
With Dr. Deitcher, the CEO of Daimler Chrysler. You never know who you're going to meet here on pit road. Tell me about your future with NASCAR. Will Daimler Chrysler increase its support of the teams, decrease it, or stay the same in the future?
Well, we are very happy with Dodge at NASCAR, and therefore clearly we will, if anything, increase our engagement here. It's so good for our production cars like Caliber, like Ram, all the other Dodge cars. So we definitely stay here, and if anything, even stronger.
New cars coming?
Yes, of course. We have lots of new cars coming, and we might consider them for NASCAR as well.
Okay, congratulations. Joy to have you here. Mike?
Today, Tom Lasorda, CEO of Chrysler Group, announced that Dodge will build the Dodge Challenger and bring it into the showroom in 2008. Dodge's new marketing campaign, AskDrZ.com. That is Dieter Zeitche. On the hood of Casey Kane and teammate Jeremy Mayfield's cars, combining American and German engineering. There's our leading Dodge Chargers in the race.
And you know, I hear mixed reviews about the car tomorrow. You know, the manufacturers don't like it. Well, the fans don't like it. Well, some of the drivers don't like it. But you know what? Looking at that 16 car that we looked at down in the cutaway garage today, it just looks like any other race car to me, other than that rear wing it has on it. That's a little unusual.
You know, I tried to talk to a lot of the Dodge crew chiefs in the garage area this morning about their qualifying. We only had 3 Dodges that qualified in the top 20, and 2 of them were pretty much go or go home. But I keep going back to February, the Dodges were strong. Casey Mears in the Dodge finished second. Ryan Newman finished third. But right now, here 57 laps in this race, we only have 1 Dodge in the top 10, and that's Kurt Busch in the 2 car.
Kind of funny how that works, Larry. You get a car that's good at Daytona and Talladega, won't run all that well at the other racetracks. Now they got them running good at other racetracks.
57 laps complete. 10 cars within 1.2 seconds of race leader Tony Stewart.
Hey, huge story this year, Matt Kenseth, driver of cars.
Báo behind. Báo. Báo. Double báo. Clear. Foul all the way back. Foul, 3 back. Foul, double foul behind you. Round, clear all around. All behind you. Double foul. Double foul. Foul, double foul behind you. Foul. Foul. All around. Inside, inside.
Just way too tight.
4, way too tight. We're going to work on it. You're about 8 feet away from a pit stop.
You are watching the Pepsi 400 from the Daytona International Speedway.
36th place after making a pit stop. As we told you, he had a go-for-broke qualifying setup in the car, won the pole, but it wasn't the best race setup, and the rules dictated you were not allowed to make changes after qualifying.
But Steve Burns, mission accomplished for this group, because you know what? They made a noise down here, and they are in the 2007 Budweiser shootout now.
Yeah, and Larry Mack, he said he anticipated being drop kicked early in the race. His latest report on the car is that it is way too loose. He said we need to put more bite in it.
SED has this real interesting marketing plan. If we sell more cases, we get to run more races of that So Be No Fear drink. That's a little twist on win on Sunday, sell on Monday.
It's a little different, yeah.
Tony Stewart and Jimmy Johnson. Last year's Pepsi 400 winner and this year's Daytona 500 winner, leading the pack.
A couple of laps ago, I was watching Kurt Busch in a 2-car. Come down the front straightaway here and headed off into turn 1. And the air off the other cars. When you're really tucked up tight like he is right there, watch what happens to him. He just gets pushed over into the wall. I guarantee he didn't do that on purpose, but the air off of Carl Edwards' 99 car blew him into the wall.
That air at about 185 miles per hour does some weird stuff.
It does.
Now that 11-car pack has a front 5 breakaway. It was all one pack, and now the first 5 back through Carl Edwards are beginning to edge away just a bit from the next 6 cars. Matt?
Mike, Jeff Gordon, the 6-time Daytona winner, has fallen back to the 8th position. You can see he's moved to the high side behind his teammate Kyle Busch. Earlier he was trying the bottom. The car just way too tight and getting tighter. He's slowly fading back. That's why he's searching around, trying to see if he can find a better line until they pit around lap 81.
Yeah, man, I was watching him off the turn 4 there. I could see his hands in the car, and he is a busy young man right now just trying to keep that thing off the wall.
But as I talked to all the crew chiefs over the last couple of days, that was the big fear of this racetrack, is you always fight the car tight, not turning off the corner. And I think as it actually cools down, it's going to pretty much magnify that problem.
41 cars on the lead lap, but green flag pit stops have broken them up into several different packs. Still, Tony Stewart stays out front, Dick. He's led 35 laps now.
Not as good as it was earlier this evening, Mike. He's a bit 3 off. He and crew chief Greg Zipadelli have discussed some changes that they would like to make. And for kids at home watching this race, when Tony Stewart has decided what he wants to change in the car, air pressure, wedge, what have you, he always says, please.
And the guy right in his mirror, Jimmy Johnson, with the Shamu paint scheme, he says the car is driving well, but it might end up tightening up as the run goes on. He wants to loosen the car up on their next stop, but right now he's very content, just staying in line. A great track position, just following the 20, Steve.
Well, Matt, it was just a few laps ago that Mark Martin was running in the 2nd position behind Tony Stewart, but since then he's dropped several positions as well, now positioned in 6th. He says his race car has gotten tight. He told crew chief Pat Trice that he wants to make a wedge adjustment on their next pit stop.
And you know, as I sat there and I watched the 48 car run along behind the 20, what has Jimmy Johnson learned? He has learned to be a patient driver on the restrictor plate tracks. Don't take the lead until you need to. Don't make any erratic moves. He had a lot of guys ticked off at him there for a race or two on the restrictor plate tracks, but he's got his game together now.
The Nextel Cup point leader has not led tonight.
That's ugly.
Michael Waltrip, the 55 car, 2-time Daytona 500 winner, on pit road with a lot of damage.
Pancaked that right side and looked like he did a lot of damage.
The track stays green as Walter pits.
See what happens here. He's going down. Yikes. Turn 4 just got a little too high.
And it's almost like he just couldn't get it off there.
She just took off. It's really bumpy. I tell you, this track has got a lot of big bumps in it. I don't mean the kind that jar you. I'm just talking about the kind that are kind of little swells in the asphalt.
And you know, if you remember, Darrell, Michael was one of the cars that pitted early before the last set of green stops, thought he maybe had somewhat of a tire problem.
Jimmy Johnson looking up high, breathes the car just a bit.
Boy, I like that 38 car tonight, Larry. I just like the way it looks. He's sitting there. He looks like he's got himself composed and ready to make a good run tonight.
Car is looking good. I think a lot like Jeff Gordon, they've got a little momentum coming off of Infineon after that run there last week. And this could be just what this team needs, is a couple of good runs in a row.
Yeah, he and his crew chief, Tommy Ball, and they just need to get back on the same page, work together. They got a lot of potential there. We know that.
And you heard Chris Myers say in the pre-race, he has made a statement. I am staying at Robert Yates Racing for 2007.
Funny how you run better when you make a statement like that.
We are 10 laps from halfway in the Pepsi 400. You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
Inside. About 2 car length. And go file behind cam 1.
Try to find a way to hook the front end up.
Forward. Cars back to 25. 5 away, 5 away.
Turn 2, locked the brake, released, turned, spun around, grabbed a gear and got gone. So for keeping that car in one piece, Allstate will donate a $1,000 scholarship to the Urban Youth Racing School. Allstate, official insurance sponsor of NASCAR. Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson, Elliott Sadler, Greg Biffle trying to break away from the cars behind them, and once again the first car to make a green flag stop in sequence, Martin Truex.
Yeah, this has been 35 laps since he made his green flag stop. He was the first car to hit pit road earlier, so this pretty much will trigger it. So I think over the next 4 to 6 to 7 laps, we'll see all of our leaders make their second green flag stop. It's pretty much been about 65 laps since we had that caution with Jeff Burton in the 31.
Yeah, and I believe that that 24 car, old buddy Jeff Gordon there, he'd like to get in the pits and make some changes on his car because he has fallen all the way back to 9th place.
Gordon tracking his teammate Kyle Busch.
And I believe this is it's another one of those critical moments in the race for Jeff Gordon and his team. Can they make the car better?
A Joe Gibbs Chevrolet in front, Tony Stewart. A Rick Hendrick Chevrolet, Jimmy Johnson in second as Kyle Busch got into the back of Mark Martin there.
Yeah.
Now, did Martin ease out of the throttle, or did Kyle Busch just have a run and get into him?
Now you see Kyle Busch in the 5 going to the top side of the racetrack. Jeff Gordon, his teammate in the 24, as well as the other Hendrick car, Brian Vickers in the 25. They moved to the high side trying to run this pack back down. That's exactly where we saw Dale Earnhardt Jr. last night in the Busch race. He was up there all night long.
Sterling Marlin on the apron coming to pit road in that Jim's Resort car, the paint job designed by 3 youngsters at the Boggy Creek Gang camp, one of the Paul Newman Hole in the Wall gang camps here in Florida.
The thing's got the look of a car that needs some gas.
Definitely, he's either out of power or out of fuel one, that's for sure.
Again, let's look at speeds in the Mark Martin, Kyle Busch. Little dust up there. See what we can see.
Kyle's got a nice run underneath the Mark right here, and he
didn't actually get in the back of Mark Martin. He just got very loose off turn.
No, he never touched him. He just kind of was bobbing and weaving off turn 4 there.
Sure looked close. Mark lost a little bit of speed coming off that corner. Kyle Busch was right there.
But you know, we're hearing more and more cars from our guys down in the pits complain about handling problems. They never had any practice this week in these conditions at full nighttime with the track this cool. All of their practice was in the afternoon on Thursday.
Look at the gap between, or here's pit stops. Green flag stops coming. And it's Kurt Busch leading Jamie McMurray, Busch's teammate Ryan Newman, Kevin Harvick, Bobby Labonte, and Clint Boyer to pit road. Mike Wallace is in as well. Dick?
Well, Kurt Busch is in. No more conversation about that battery problem he thought he had earlier in the night. Crew going to fire 4 tires at it, put plenty of fuel in it. No major adjustments to Kurt Busch's car, and he is gone.
And I think what we'll see in the next 1 to 2 laps, I think we'll see our leaders like Tony Stewart in the 20, Jimmy Johnson in the 48, Greg Biffle in the 16. Not this time, but I would say in the next lap or 2 they'll be there.
38's coming.
Horace Set is in. Scott Riggs. Here comes Elliott Sadler with Jeremy Mayfield and Mark Martin to pit road. Matt?
Elliott Sadler was tight earlier in the race, making his way to his pit box, and Tommy Baldwin calling him in, who won this event, the Daytona 500 back in 2002. You can see they're going to make another chassis adjustment, still trying to tweak the balance of that race car. As Tony Stewart on the left of your screen still leading, the Hendrick guys ready to make their next stop, and they will try to pit with their teammates. Jeff Gordon is called in the pit road, as well as the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. You can see them peel off, looking through the front of Jimmy Johnson's Chevrolet to Steve Burns.
Matt, 17 of Matt Kenseth hits his pit stall. He says he's loose on side bite. They're going to make a pretty big air pressure adjustment and a track bar adjustment. He's also saying he's unbelievably hot. He wants water. Let's go to Dick Burton.
Tony Stewart said before this race, patience at Daytona is the gospel. He has been very patient behind the wheel, very cool, very calm. The crew has been flawless. Matty.
2 rounds up already on the track bar, Dick. Ron Malik. Great stop. Oh, a little bit slow on the left front, Mike Trower, but good stop by the Lowe's guys.
Boy, it got tight down there, Dex, at the pit road. They were about 4 wide, and that's about the only width that you have there is enough for 4 wide.
Good thing that Jimmy Johnson in that blue car there didn't hesitate. It could have been a wreck, but he shot right through the gap and kept going.
Carl Edwards has led a lap in his Office Depot Ford, and now he comes to pit road. That's the Taco Bell car of Chad Chaffin alongside. So Edwards surrenders the lead to Dale Earnhardt Jr., who leads for the first time tonight.
And you know, you talked about practice, Larry. They had 160 laps of practice here last year, so they haven't changed much on these cars, these restrictor plate cars.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. gets those 5 points. I anticipate he'll be in probably the next lap in the 8 car.
Matt?
And the crew chiefs, Mike, all communicating down here on pit road, just so that way they wouldn't have any issues entry and exit. Carl Edwards stop already complete, 14.2 seconds air pressure adjustment. He was tight.
Denny Hamlin and J.J. Yaley, the other 2 Gibbs cars besides Tony Stewart, will move up in the running order behind Dale Earnhardt Jr. They were among the last to pit in the last sequence.
But look what a lonely man he is right now, running along all by himself, Dale Jr. Nobody to help him.
Yeah, I mean, this pack right here, they're running in the high 47s that we're looking at. Dale Earnhardt Jr., 49.10, need to get to pit road and get back out there with the group. You're losing a lot of ground.
Tony Raines and Reed Sorensen make stops as Jr. continues to lead over Hamlin, Yaley, Robbie Gordon, and David Stremme.
Got a whole lot of racing going on right here, boys.
It's for 7th place on back right now.
Oh, but
when it cycles all through here in a few laps, it will be for the lead.
I think it's Jimmy Johnson's time to say, let me see if I can pass this dude or not.
Pit next time by. Pit next time by.
That's the call to Dale Earnhardt Jr.
That's his crew chief, Tony Uri Jr.
Once again, a 49.24 that lap. The group we're watching in the high 47. He's losing about a second to a second and a half per lap to those guys.
And the cars right behind him are now pitting. That would be J.J. Yaley, Robbie Gordon, and Denny Hamlin.
Strong move by that Shamu. Swam right into the lead.
Jimmy Johnson in the 48, Carlos, special paint scheme this week.
You've been waiting all night to say that, haven't you?
Well, it's on the hood, you know.
Well, Believe is the new Shamu show at SeaWorld, and that team believes. They went to victory lane in the Daytona 500. And now they'll try to get back out front as Dale Jr. comes into the pits right there, you need to be at pit road speed.
In the leaders, what will be the leaders, they're halfway down the backstretch. He's going to be borderline of going a lap down, and I think a lot contributed to the fact running out there by himself for those 3 or 4 laps. He's just now to his pit box. The leaders are in the middle of turn 3 and 4.
Matt?
Junior, 2-time Daytona winner. His crew chief, Tony Jr., trying to stretch it for fuel. Chassis adjustment. Junior said he just has a weird feeling with the right front of the car. He just doesn't get a good feel, and it makes the car loose.
Well, he went a lap down, that's for sure. We got a real racer for the lead. These guys are battling, man.
Well, it's not quite for the lead, Darrell, because David Stremme has not yet made this pit stop. So the Coors Light Dodge, which had to make the field on time, is your leader right now over that snarling pack led by Matt Kenseth. And here comes Stremme.
I'm never sure what Tony's doing. Tony has got a fast car. We know he's led a lot of laps. Seems like he falls back, like he's trying to see where he needs to be if it comes down to a shootout.
But this will be our new leader now. Matt Kenseth in that yellow number 17 car leading this group of cars. Now, Matt led a lap earlier, so this will be his second time to lead tonight.
There's some strategizing going on right now, Larry.
Oh, yeah, a lot more pit stops to go.
We're just past halfway in the Pepsi 400 on Fox.
Foul all the way back. That's 2 above you, 3 wide, 2 above you. Clear up 1. Clear all around, double file behind you. Good job. Impressive, buddy. Great job. So 75 to go. South. Debris on the back stretch, so double file behind you. Debris back there. They ain't said where it's at yet.
Break me up. You know, we're going to be a little loose out front, but we're good in traffic now.
Full. Stand full.
The things are up. I can still see to be a little freer on, but everything we do frees it up on the entry too.
Oh, it's hard to split them up here, buddy. You're doing a great job with it, though. 73 to go.
Come on, baby, let's go.
There's a car company for people.
6 under green right there.
You're definitely coming, right?
Stand forward, definitely coming. Come on. At least 2. I'll let y'all know. At least 2.
As your agent, I say you do it. Cut.
4 boxes before you. 4 before you. Bids are open this time by, guys. Bids are open. We got 20.
Do whatever you think you need to do against the competition, just letting you know.
Campbell. Tell you about the start finish line. Is open. Pit road is open. Tires, Jeff. We're definitely taking 2 tires. What I want you to do is I want you to leave on me. Leave on me. Cookie, you drop the jack on the lug nuts. Jeff, you leave on me. I just need like a half count when it lands flat to make sure the fuel's really full. 100, 4100. You know what you can get.
Road is open, Steve.
Mike, we think Matt Kenseth will take just right side tires. Also, he's still complaining about being very hot. Yeah, he's getting locked in trying to exit pit road. Let's go to Dick.
Tony Stewart thought about taking 4 tires. Greg Zimbinelli, his crew chief, thought it would take too much track position. He has taken fuel only. Matt.
Service already complete for Elliott. Oh, close call with the 16 of Biffle and the 1 of Truex. They will lose a lot of time. 4 tire change for Jimmy Johnson and chassis adjustment. His car was starting to tighten up. And meanwhile, Gordon, another air pressure adjustment. His car really came to life over that short run we just had.
Larry, these pit boxes aren't that small, but not only Martin Truex, Mike Wallace also had trouble getting into their pits on this stop.
Yeah, I mean, we have so many cars on pit road at one time under caution. We had over 20-something cars, but I'm not surprised that everyone pitted that time, at least for fuel. Reason being, they can make it to the end on one more stop.
Yeah, I noticed the 17. I mean, he does such a great job of getting into his pit box, but then he had that issue coming out.
Robbie Reiser not happy. Steve?
No, he's not, and neither is Matt Kenseth. They're going to have to come back down pit road. They think they have some fender damage, Mike Joy. And also, again, it was a lack of communication between Robbie and Matt. Matt wanted Robbie to clear him off of pit road, and he misunderstood him.
I mean, to me, that needs to be standard procedure, especially when you've got that many cars on pit road and that driver's in there and his peripheral vision is not very big.
Well, if Matt Kenseth's the only car that has to come back to pit road, he will restart 37th.
This 38's got to come back in.
And boy, I don't know. The one behind us, he's a 1 lap penalty. He's outside the box, so I'll keep you abreast of that.
Back in.
For the 2 in front of you, I'm sure aren't coming. They were the last to come under green, but they were already in their fuel window, but we had to get in ours.
10-4, so they're sitting out here on heavy lap tires.
You know, I'm guessing here, but I'm thinking like 3 or 4. 4. Kane here tells me 4 tires for sure, and the 8. How about the 18, guys? He came 1 lap before him, so he's on 5.
And what were you saying about the 20?
I'm thinking the 20 got fuel only, but I don't know that for sure.
So you're talking about somebody who was outside the box.
The 1, the guy pitting behind us, the 1 lap penalty, he was outside the box.
10-4.
Are you in front of him?
No, this is where I left the pits, I think.
Okay, I was just checking. I didn't know how you guys got shuffled around. 1 to go right here. 1 to go. We can just try to make it to the next one and just pull it out a little.
Quite a few guys in front of us that took 2 and some gas only and stuff, so it'll probably be a little interesting there, Rock. And 4.
And check your tire pressures often.
It also doesn't hurt to lose the lead foot. If you want to win the fuel mileage race, every little bit helps.
The Pepsi 400 on Fox is sponsored by Visa. Go on, live life. And remember that no matter what it takes, life takes Visa. Welcome back to Daytona. Time for a Visa race break. 69 laps to go under caution. Top 6 cars, all Chevrolets. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leading the way. Tony Stewart has led the most laps, defending champ in this race, leading a 49 laps so far. But that recent round of pit stops, and you talked earlier about how critical here, getting in and out on pit road. We saw some examples of how not to do it.
Yeah, we saw some examples that some guys came in and decided to try to put gas in. And the lead cars, when you make an early stop like that and you get rolling along, I mean, you can get you in trouble. Matt Kenseth, he was parked way up to turn 4. He made a quick stop for gas and right side tires. When the crew finished up, all of a sudden the rest of the field was still coming in. We've got 37 cars still on the lead lap. So when they finished up the stop, he started to pull away. Automatically bang. He gets into, I think, the 38 car of Elliott Sadler. So it did damage to his car as well as the 38 car. So 38 car starts out, and he gets caught up in another melee between the 1 and the 16. So a lot of chaos right now on pit road, guys. And Larry McReynolds, you know that's not what you want.
There appears to be some damage to Sadler's car. This has been a Visa race break. No matter what it takes, life takes Visa.
All I know is all 3 cars had trouble. They're all yellow.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. and J.J. Yeley did not pit, so they lead the field down for this restart.
Well, we were questioning the strategy on Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car. What his crew chief, Tony Eury, was doing before that caution came out, he was trying to get to a window where he could make it on one more stop. The caution was still his friend, but now what Dale Earnhardt Jr. and J.J. Yeley have to do, they have to run 2 segments of 38 laps apiece to get to the end by making it on one more stop.
Can they do that?
I think so. The window this morning, talking to the crew chiefs, was somewhere between 36 and 38 laps. We normally see the Chevrolets get a little better mileage than some of the other makes.
I think you're right on his pit strategy, which could turn out to be a good thing. But his car hadn't shown to be all that fast tonight.
But I still say the caution was a good thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he played it perfectly.
Rookie J.J. Yeley trying to lead here at Daytona. Nipped by Dale Jr. at the line.
And we pretty much know the other 35 cars on the lead lap, by pitting them, they should be able to make it to the end on one more stop.
Yeley and Joe Gibbs Interstate Battery Chevy steams around the outside and brings Jeff Gordon with him. And there's Yeley's teammate and team leader Tony Stewart, the defending Nextel Cup champ, in Big Orange, 3rd in line, the Home Depot Chevy.
Well, this will be the first time Tony Stewart has seen a teammate up there with him tonight. His other teammate, Denny Hamlin, in the 11, back in the 11th spot right now behind him.
He's still outnumbered, though. You got a whole lot more Hendrick cars than you got teammates for the 20 car.
Yeley will lead this lap. From Stewart and Brian Vickers. Vickers in the 25 drove a very heady race last night in the Busch Series event. His restrictor plate game has really picked up.
He was 7th here in February. He was 3rd in Talladega a few weeks ago. And here he is tonight. 2nd last night. Here he is tonight doing a good job again.
Drafting off Jeff Gordon as they both drop to the bottom, and they want the lead from the 2 Joe Gibbs cars. Gordon back to the front.
The biggest thing I have noticed with Brian Vickers, he's a good teammate. He very well maybe could have won that race at Talladega, but he was a good teammate to Jimmy Johnson.
Here's Matt.
And that's exactly what he's doing, Mike. Just like Talladega, being very patient, hanging with his wingman, one of his teammates right now following the 24 of Gordon, just trying to stay in line. The car a little on the free side as his teammate, the 5 of Kyle Busch, his car has been free as well. He dives to the high side.
I'll tell you how good a teammate he is. When it's Charlotte where he buffed in tires for his other teammates.
Yes. After he had a problem.
He had a problem, and they needed buff tires, and he went to work and buffed tires for his teammates.
Here comes Tony Stewart in that 20 car all the way to the bottom. He's got help from Greg Biffle in the 16 pushing him.
Tony is one of the Pied Pipers we talked about at the top of the show. Wherever he goes, cars will follow. 3 wide right behind him.
They are 3 by 3 by 3 by 3.
Well, when you got fresh tires on like everybody does, you can get away with that for a little while. but I wouldn't get real comfortable with this little wad right here.
The small fuel cells break them up, the cautions bring them back together.
Everybody wanted to follow Stewart. It's Stewart who is getting away with Jeff Gordon.
96 laps into this race, and we have 30 cars within 2.5 seconds of each other.
Well, we still got 37 cars on the lead lap right now.
Now you see Michael Waltrip in that 55 car up there near the front. Remember, hit the wall earlier. Right now, he's 2 laps down in the Napa car.
Right here's, I mean, you got to be so careful. Everybody's got to run their lane when you get 3 wide like that. Beppo's hung up in the middle, and I tell you, that's a big old sucker hose, what it is.
Inside the 99, your old buddy.
You can just see him going by, and especially on the high side. Now he'll get to the bottom of the racetrack. A little help from J.J. Yaley in the 18 back there.
Yeah, now we're just double wide.
Watch him come off turn 2 here. Man, everybody's sliding all over the place. They fan out. I love it when they come off at 2. Get a great run.
Look at this wad right here. Elliott Sadler in the 38 car giving a little bump there.
Yeah, well, guess why? He was started back in like 35th, 36th place after that problem on pit road. He's got to go. He and Matt Kenseth both started at the back of this wad right here.
And we're looking at Kurt Busch in the 2 car. Those guys changed the battery under that caution.
So these 2 drivers, as you look from Jeff Burton, Matt Kenseth and Kurt Busch, have both gained 16 positions since the restart. At point, Brian Vickers wants to lead a lap.
And he's trying to get some help from his teammate on the bottom side, Jimmy Johnson in the 48. 3 Hendrick cars at the front off turn 2.
I tell you, I've said this time and time again, I'll say it again tonight. That Brian Vickers is a lot different race car driver than he was before he announced that he was going to lead that team.
Brian will drive for Red Bull Toyota in 2007. His slot on the Hendrick stable will be taken by Casey Mears. Side by side at the line. That would be a near photo finish. Gordon had the edge.
We have a scoring monitor that shows the delta. The delta between Jeff Gordon and Brian Vickers that lap, 0.000. Dead heat.
Not even a thousandth of a second separated them.
Man, it's like 1959.
Tony Stewart getting shuffled back in that pack. Here's our second singular virtual crew chief question of the night. Who is the current king of restrictor plate racing? Take your pick. And
yeah, pick one.
Text the word crew to 191 on your singular phone or log on to foxsports.com/singular.
Now here's Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the Budweiser car in the middle.
What's that song, Stuck in the Middle with You?
Now he's been getting help from his teammate Martin Truex Jr. in the 1 car after having that problem on pit road making a green flag stop. He's 1 lap down, but he's definitely trying to be a good teammate to Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And a lot of 3 wide from 4th place on back. That's the eye of the storm right there.
It really is. I got to tell you, they can't just keep doing
that. No kidding, Larry.
I feel trouble a-brewing.
Larry always wanted to work for the Weather Channel.
I love it. That I could do it with a racetrack.
You just can't get away with this forever. You see how the 17 car was dancing around in the middle in that pocket there. Sooner or later, somebody will get a little loose, slide up into somebody. Saw Jeff Burton. He's wobbling all back in there. You just can't keep doing that.
But while this is going on, we have 4 Hendrick cars at the front lined up. Vickers, Johnson, Gordon, and Kyle Busch.
And look who's right with him. Bobby Labonte in Richard Petty's number 43.
By far showing the most strength as a Dodge tonight.
Labonte restarted 15th. He has climbed to 5th. .60 laps to go in the Pepsi 400 on Fox. Brian Vickers leading teammates Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, and Kyle Busch.
There have been a lot of
Still trying to come in the middle. Outside, outside. 26 up top now. Outside, outside. Couple coming to help you.
On the bottom. 3 wide with the 26 in the middle. Behind you now, helping. Matt Strong, just got to stay with him. All clear, all clear. Still clear. Outside the 1, 2 of the 1, whatever you need, either one of you. Still clear. Inside. Clear, 5 car behind you now, the 5 car. Side by side behind you, you're clear by a car length. That car's coming for help. You're still clear all around, 5 car on your back bumper. Everybody's staying in the top lane right now, Gene. Top lane is moving. Bottom lane is moving. 1 car length back. 2 by 2 behind you. Still clear all around. Clear. Push is coming. Clear on the 24, 3 wide behind you.
3 places over Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s Chevy. Little bump drafting here. Now watch Jeff Gordon up on the high side and Brian Vickers coming. They work on the 20 of Tony Stewart.
Just watch these 2 cars take off. Just one pushing the other, they're just pushing right to the front.
6 to 7 miles per hour they gained, but Darrell, that was textbook bump drafting by Brian Vickers. Bump, bump, got off.
Here's Matt.
And Mike, you're looking back at the 24, Jeff Gordon. Gordon wasn't pleased with the 8 of Dale Jr. He was saying Jr. was bump drafting more into the corner out of the no bumping zone.
Well, and I will say a couple laps ago, Matt, I saw the same thing. Dale Earnhardt Jr. definitely turning off into turn 3, unlike what Brian Vickers did to him. Definitely was doing a little bump drafting getting in.
You see that cat right there? Where was he when they restarted this race?
About 36.
36, 37. He's running 6 right now. He has come through the field, baby.
Matt Kenseth in the 17 car had that problem on pit road.
Tony Stewart to the outside, around the point leader Jimmy Johnson, and hunting the lead off turn 4.
There is no question. Bobby Labonte in that 43 car flexing his muscle. The only Dodge up there in amongst about the top 13 or 14. Remember, we pretty much know everyone out there will have to make one more green flag stop, probably in about 15 to 18 laps.
And the crew chief on that 43 car, he knows a little bit about this joint right here.
Two-time Daytona 500 winning crew chief, Todd Perry.
Todd Perry.
20 cars within 2 seconds of the lead. That's white knuckle racing as we go to Jeff Hammond for tonight's State Farm Safety Report.
Mike, one of the greatest innovations of the car tomorrow has to be the cockpit area. NASCAR has raised the greenhouse, giving the drivers a lot more headroom in the event the car gets upside down. But more importantly, they've moved the driver.
29 in your mirror. Side. 3 wide, outside, side, wide outside, size to 99 on your quarter, 3 wide behind you. Three rows of 3 wide. Three wide. Three wide. 3 wide again. Still 3 wide. Here high. 1 lane. 1 lane. 25 back there behind you, about a car length, still outside. Clear high. Outside, outside. Clear, clear. No help from the 25. Still clear. 2 back to 2x2. Hang on to that 6.
Some race, huh?
Oh, yeah. You should have seen.
Still helping the 6, no help. '25's in your row, still out. Clear all around.
No question, I'm too tight. If we get back to the car, or down on the car, it's off.
Copy that, copy that.
Now get a card for $49.99 with an unlimited data access plan after mail-in rebate. Yes, you can.
Hey, I'm Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby.
Yeah! Still there, outside, 29, outside now. One coming outside with him. Still outside. 2 car open behind the 1. Clear. Go clear. 09 behind you. Up top. All right, up 99, 43 and a 5.
Two wide behind you, you're still clear. All single file behind you now.
The 2006 All-Star Game in HD, July 11th, only on Fox.
When you come to your next Nextel Cup race, FanView can really help enhance your viewing experience. Watch your favorite drivers' onboard cameras, queue up replays, replay the last 3 minutes of your favorite driver's conversation with his team. The data stream on FanView is so accurate, some of the teams use it for timing practice and keeping up with the race. And you can call up point positions as of now. The top 10 make the chase for the Nextel Cup. Kevin Harvick just 11 points back of Kyle Busch right now for that top 10 spot. Carl Edwards, Denny Hamlin, Kurt Busch, Ryan Newman, the top 15. To learn more, go to foxsports.com/fanview. Just like when we left, Tony Stewart leading Matt Kenseth by 1 car length. Jeff Gordon is there. Point leader Jimmy Johnson, Bobby Labonte in the top 5. Then Carl Edwards, Kyle Busch, Ryan Newman, Kurt Busch, and Clint Boyer, the top 10. 42 laps to go in the Pepsi 400 on Fox.
DLP ticket.
One car length back to the 11, you run to the bottom. Slide. They're all around. Inside. Clear low, 40 laps to go, 40. 3 more. File 2 back with a 48 to 43. Car on the bottom. Tree is working the high side, still clear. See, if I lift about 5/8 throttle and set the front tires down and it turns. High side, he's looking. There.
On to pit road, led by Tony Stewart, the race leader. Matt Kenseth coming in with him, and Carl Edwards. Steve?
And Mike, remember, Matt Kenseth doing a fantastic job battling back from that pit road mishap on lap 88. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment. They're going to drop the air on both left side tires on that 17 of Matt Kenseth. 4 tires for the 17, and we go to Dick.
Tony Stewart, who has dominated the race tonight, just as he did last July, has called for 0 changes in his car other than 4 tires and fuel. To Matt.
Carl Edwards on pit road with the 20 of Stewart. Left side tires on. Good stop by the 99 guys.
And I think we'll see all of these green flag stops. They'll do exactly that. 4 tires, because they know this may get them to the end. Here comes another full water race car for what will be their final pit stop.
Bobby Labonte is in along with Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Busch, Ryan Newman, Kurt Busch, Elliott Sadler, and more. Steve?
Mike just heard from the 43 pits. They said Bobby hasn't said much. He said it's rotating well, just a little bit tight in the center, but he hasn't said much all night. He really likes this race car. Matt.
Steve Letarte, Jeff Gordon's crew chief, will attempt to tighten up the 24 car on this stop. Gordon was stuck running the high side most of the last run just because the car was just not balance-wise what he needed. The 48 of Jimmy Johnson in as well. Johnson took 4 tires the last stop. Gordon only took 2.
Jeff Burton was in along with Tony Raines, David Stremme, Mike Wallace, Kenny Schrader, Reed Sorensen, Dave Blaney, Joe Nemechek, Kyle Petty, Travis Kvapil, and pole sitter Boris Said.
Now here comes Kevin Harvick in the 29 car that had assumed the lead for 1 lap. He's followed by Greg Biffle in the 16, Jamie McMurray in the 26. Here comes Denny Hamlin in the 11, Dale Jarrett in the 88 car. We have just about cycled through this set of green flag stops.
Jeff Green's in as well, and so is Casey Mears. That will hand the lead back to Brian Vickers.
Well, Kevin Harvick, who stormed through the field last night after starting 42nd and finished 3rd, has just completed his pit stop. One of the last to pit, so he's going to have a lot of cars to pass to win this race tonight.
I've been pretty impressed so far, guys. I haven't heard those dreaded words. too fast entering or too fast exiting.
It's been pretty clean all night, and this is definitely the pit stop as we see Brian Vickers in the 25 took the lead. You don't want to see no mistake on this pit stop here with 34 laps to go.
Vickers coming down the pit road, and so is Sterling Marlin, which would be the last of the lead lap cars to make a pit stop. Here's Matt.
Young man who finished third at Talladega hits the flip-flops pitboard sign in memory of his late friend Ricky Hendrick. You can see they're pulling the tear-offs off the windshield for better visibility. Left side tires going on. Now his car was neutral. They still made an air pressure adjustment to try to improve that 25 car.
The green flag pit stops, instead of spreading the leaders out, pulled them all together. Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon off to turn one, side by side once again.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon, really, that group led by Steele Vitart. They won the battle of those green flag stops, but Tony Stewart in that orange 20 car, he's not going to let him keep the point for long, but not a lot of help so far. But here comes Kenseth in the 17 to help him.
And Bobby Labonte. Labonte finished second here in both 1998 races, driving for Joe Gibbs. Tonight, he's driving for the King, Richard Petty, in the 43.
Gordon's car's again got that look. It is pretty good on new tires, but he has a little bit of a problem right at the end of the run.
And Darrell, should we stay green, this will be another long green run because that pit stop came right on the window that will get them to the end on a full load of fuel. Look at them back there, 3 wide behind those top 3. Bobby Labonte in that 43 car just keeps getting racier and racier.
But look at the 48. Johnson getting bump drafting help from the 5 of Kyle Busch. Edges past Labonte for 4th place. Nope, Labonte comes right back after him on the bottom.
But Bobby Labonte's getting some Dodge friends up there. Ryan Newman in the 12 finished third in the Daytona 500. And how about the Blue Deuce there on the inside? Those guys changed the battery under the last car.
Tell you what, that 43 car is coming, baby.
Oh, you know what they say? It's good to be king.
Yeah, especially on the 4th of July.
Tony Stewart leads in Daytona.
I think the expectations that have always been
Side. Side, 92 in your mirror. 9 in your mirror, inside only. Clear. Outside, outside. And 3. Back and again for about a car and a half, then single file again.
from Singular. And now they can
bottom, working the bottom, all lined up. Oh. Side. inside, inside. Clear, clear, clear. 2 in your mirror, giving you a push. Outside, 2 wide outside. Clear, clear. Whew. Nice. Two more cars and I'll sing for you. Double foul behind you.
One another at the end of the day.
Kenseth thought he had the car to win that Daytona 500. Had that incident not taken place, he brought that same car here. Of course, Jimmy Johnson, who won the Daytona 500, can't bring that car because it's on display at Daytona, USA. Tony Stewart leading Matt Kenseth and Jimmy Johnson. 25 laps to go. You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
Lots of time. Double foul, clear. Stay back. On 4-5 back. On 1 back and get about 2 car lengths, single file. Wide behind you. 4 back to the 07 now.
From the Goodyear airship, you watch the two of Kurt Busch on the bottom of the racetrack challenge Matt Kenseth for second behind race leader Tony Stewart. Aerial coverage from Goodyear Eagle tires with carbon fiber technology for enhanced handling and performance. Let's talk strategy as we get into the final 20 laps of this race with Steve Burns.
And Mike, let's put it in perspective for the number 17 of Matt Kenseth. He ran into Dave Blaney on pit road on lap 88, restarted 33rd, and right now he is right behind the number 20 of Tony Stewart, and he has no intentions of moving anywhere from his rear bumper.
Yeah, I don't have any plans to go anywhere. I don't know what they'll do behind me here. I'd like to stay in line until we get at least 5 to go, you know, or later. I think we're doing fine right where we are. They told us 48 that you would stay behind the 20 for 2 until 2 to go.
So Matt Kenseth, again, staying right in the tire tracks of that 20 car. They've overcome a lot of adversity tonight, also a vibration and concerns about the carburetor before the race even started, Mike.
Matt Kenseth's drive from 33rd to 2nd is our Ford bold move of the race.
I like his strategy, but he better be sure whoever's running third, when he decides to do something, they're going to do it with him, because if not, they will shuffle him right out of there.
Now, one commercial break ago, Bobby Labonte was caught in the middle between cars and shuffled back 3 or 4 positions. Labonte has fought back. Drafting off Kurt Busch, he climbed up to 5th and now shows in, what's that, 3rd place?
3rd place, yeah. He got out of line there for a little bit, but he's worked himself right back up there.
And another car that had worked his way up there, but he just got shuffled out of line. You saw him squeeze up in front of Carl Edwards in the 99. Kurt Busch in the 2 car 50 laps ago on pit road with a battery problem. Roy McCauley, that group under caution, changed the battery. This group right here, after finishes of 2nd, 9th, and 5th, made a statement a month ago. We will make the chase for the Nextel Cup. 10 races to go, including tonight for those final 10.
Right now, he's in 14th place. The man alongside him, Kevin Harvick, 29.
Pretty impressive.
Is the 10th place car.
38 come from way, way back, guys. I mean, he was out of the pit late, and this group was gone, and he's chased them down.
I mean, guys, with 18 laps to go, we got the top 18 cars within 2 seconds of each other.
Our DLP HD TV Ultimate Picture Cam floating above the start-finish line at Daytona. Watch Carl Edwards, the 99. There. Wham.
Well, the 2 car was coming up. I think Carl may have gotten a little air off of him and caused his car to. We saw Kurt do that earlier right behind the 99. Kind of changed the roles a little bit.
Now, for a second, Kurt Busch had help from Elliott Sadler in the 38 car. Then Elliott went lower. Now he's getting a shove from Carl Edwards in the 99 and another Roush car in the 6. Harvick's fighting his way back too in that 29.
Look up by the wall, the 07. Clint Boyer coming back into the picture. He's flirted with the top 10 all night in that black Jack.
Every time I look at that Hershey's car, I got to say, what has Brown done to you?
Let's went from the rear to the front to the rear back to the front for Kevin Harvick tonight.
Our Daytona 500 winner and Nextel Cup leader, Jimmy Johnson, sits in 5th place in his Lowe's Chevy. Matt?
Running with his teammates, Mike. Now, besides that special paint scheme, he also has a special Darrell Waltrip edition chrome-looking helmet. Also, he was going to use black gloves tonight to go along with his new paint scheme. But when he realized that the black gloves would be difficult for the car behind him to see when he's giving hand signals, whether to pit or to hook up in the draft and go with him, he decided to go back with his usual Lowe's blue gloves.
A lot of white on those gloves, Matt, as you show us.
But still black, Mike. He felt like inside the car with the darkness, it would be tough to see.
Let's update Dale Earnhardt Jr. It's just not going to be the night that he had last night. It's kind of a lonely man back there. He really don't have anybody he's running with here with 15 laps to go. Sitting back there in 19th, just trying to salvage a top 20 finish out of this deal.
So who is the restrictor plate king at Daytona? One of the 3 drivers listed, or perhaps none of the above. 54% of you said Dale Earnhardt Jr., but Jr. right now is in 19th. Not sure if he can get to that lead pack in the 15 laps that remain. 15 laps to go. Is Tony Stewart going to lead them home, or has Matt Kenseth or Jeff Gordon or Bobby Labonte been saving something for Stewart?
Second and 3, second and 4. Top of the racetrack, June, up top, up top. Clear high right there.
And 43 that's wrecking in behind you. Get him out there so we don't lose a lap. Have any tire rubs there, guys? Pace, give me the pace car. Down. As long as you can here, guys. At a time. Roll around, get caught up, everybody get clear, everybody get clear.
Hey, Rod, if you're interested, there's a future for you in the beverage distribution industry.
Racing for 5th place, Jimmy Johnson and Bobby Labonte have crashed. We're under caution. Pit road is open. Steve.
4 tires for Matt Kenseth. Coming down pit road, he said, let's show them what we're made of, guys. No other adjustments, just 4 brand new tires for Kenseth. Dick.
Tony Stewart is going to take 4 tires as well, but the 29 of Harvick's back end is sticking out. Harvick now moving. Matt.
Jeff Gordon in. 4 tire change for the 24 is the 20 of Stewart, and the 2, the 38. All service complete. Gordon's finally away.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, this race may well be won, what just happened on pit road, because we definitely had some teams roll the dice and went with just 2 tires. I'm pretty sure Greg Biffle in that 16 car, Doug Richard, looks like he rolled the dice here. Probably going to be less than 10 laps to go. May not be a bad move.
26 did too, I believe, Larry.
I think we had several cars that did that.
They took
Yaley,
2 tires.
Hamlin as well. Big gains on pit road.
No more laps than we got to go. That's a great call, I think.
I think so.
The fight for 4th place was very hotly contested. Watch the 48 of Jimmy Johnson.
Now there's cars all around. You get the 2 here, he's moving air. 38's back here looking for which way am I going to go, and it gets Jimmy loose right there, and he can't catch it, and poor Bobby Labonte is on the outside going down into turn 3, and they get hooked together.
And as we have well made note, that's at over 180 miles per hour you're turning down in that corner.
And what's happening right there is just too many cars moving around. The 2, the 38, and it got Jimmy loose, and unfortunately Bobby was on the outside of him. Bobby isn't there. Jimmy may have not even hit the wall. He may have gone up and kissed it, but with Bobby there, you see it.
Johnson's car is now under repair on pit road, and Labonte is being pushed back to the garage area.
Tell you what, we had about 34, 35 cars on pit road at one time again, because we still have 38 cars still on the lead lap. Tony Stewart, Greg Zipadelli, those guys went with 4 tires. They dropped the jack.
Well, Kevin Harvick's backing up because he went over the line.
Well, he was backing up because he couldn't turn out because Dale Jarrett was in front of him.
I think he's slid over the line to start with. They backed him up, and then 88 came in front of him.
Martin Truex Jr. will get the free pass and will be back on the lead lap. Jimmy Johnson is back on track. Let's ride along with Jimmy Johnson as he has a whale of a wreck.
Inside, in and out, in and out, in and out. Out. They're low, they're low. Inside, inside, inside. Out.
Pretty hard.
More tires here.
He's going to restart this race back in 37th position, still on the lead lap.
I'll say one thing about him. In a wreck like that, he had the presence of mind to keep the wheels kind of turned to the right a little bit so the car didn't come down in front of all the oncoming traffic.
11 laps to go. Bobby Labonte's night is over, dejectedly in the garage after being caught up in Jimmy Johnson's crash.
The Pepsi 4.
4. Go. Slowly roll forward, slowly roll forward. Start, finish. Get clear. Everybody clear. Try and get up in speed going through 3 and 4. Earl, look for tire smoke, please. Goal from this point on here, but just try to finish.
Ryan Vickers 13 in this race. Before those recent rounds of pit stops, 4 tires, 2 tires could change things. And moments ago, Jimmy Johnson bringing out the caution here. Everybody's okay, connecting like a magnet here with Bobby Labonte. So the 4th caution of this race, leaving Boris Said the leader with 10 laps to go. This has been a Visa race break. No matter what it takes, life takes Visa.
They're looking at that last replay. The question is, why didn't Jimmy Johnson turn down off Bobby Labonte?
Well, I don't think he wanted to come down in front of the oncoming traffic. I think he thought there was probably a lot of cars on right on their back bumper. He just kept the car kind of pinned right up there where it was.
All right, 37 cars on the lead lap. Our pole sitter Boris Said leading Casey Mears. They did not pit. Greg Biffle, Elliott Sadler, Jamie McMurray, Yaley, Hamlin, Gordon, Kenseth, and Stewart, the top 10.
Now, we've always been talking about Hamlin all week. I'm not sure about the strategy of those top 2 cars, but you know what? They were not hardly going to get a top 20 finish if they pitted with everyone. Actually, of the cars that changed 4 tires, Jeff Gordon and the 24 group won the battle on that group.
But just remember, Larry, saw cars come to the back to the front pretty quickly. Having cars in front of you to draft off of is a good thing.
4 fresh tires here will make you a superhero. Let's see who flies through the field.
Now we're riding with Greg Biffle in the 16 car, won the battle off pit road. We know he, Jamie McMurray, J.J. Yaley, Elliott Sadler, they have 2 fresh right side tires.
Frank Stoddard, Boris Said's crew chief. Told broadcaster Barney Hall this morning, how fast does an anvil get to the bottom of a pond? That's how fast we're going to drop back after the green. But look, here's Boris Said after all those adjustments, rolling the dice right back up front again.
And what he meant by that, he knew what they had to do to the setup of this race car to go up there and sit on the front row.
Top 4, single file, 2x2 after that.
One thing we know about 60, he's plenty fast enough.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if he's got a grip on the lead or not, but he's fast enough.
One of America's top road racers, his father, an Olympic bobsledder and sports car ace. Boris Said leads at Daytona with 8 laps to go.
And what happens is there pretty soon panic will set in. And you'll start saying, I got to get there, I got to get there, and you'll start making dumb moves.
And just remember, the guy in second, 42 car, Casey Mears, that's a backup car. He was involved in that practice crash on Thursday.
And there's going to be some guys back here that are going to get real impatient in a hurry.
There'll be 7 laps to go. Stewart drops to the inside. Little contact there. Forces his way past teammate Denny Hamlin. And he stays on the bottom, going straight toward the front. It's like the seas parted for Tony Stewart.
Cannot believe how that happened.
Stewart is up to second. Let's go to the garage. Steve Burns.
With Bobby Labonte, Bobby, how disappointing with a great race car and a great team effort to be here in the garage.
No, we're so disappointing, you know. And,
here we go, boys.
Got the big one off of turn 2 back here, guys.
Well,
we'll get back to Bobby Labonte in a moment as teammates Mark Martin and Greg Biffle have crashed.
Actually, it wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be when it started. There were a lot of cars around, but only 2 really got involved.
A lot of right front corner damage.
Whoa, there's another one. I didn't see him.
And
we got no brakes. Right front's gone. All that.
Wow. Boy, Hendrick Motorsports' fortunes turned sour in a hurry. 48 on the last, cost him 24 on this one. We heard him say no brakes.
And a lot of smoke from Carl Edwards' car. Big tire rub there as well on the 99. Let's see what happened here, Darrell.
Well, let's see. We're up in the middle here.
Bunch of 3 wide.
The
16 of Biffle and Gordon Cumming.
Oh, Yaley gets into the back of the 16.
Just caught him in that left rear quarter panel, nowhere for Mark Martin to go. But look at Denny Hamlin, Clint Boyer just barely getting by, as well as Ryan Newman.
And it's so hard to know for sure. Did Yaley get into him because he ran into him, or did he cut down in front of him, or did he lift a little bit coming off of that corner?
Let's see if the aerial view shows. Does Biffle turn down, or does Yaley come up, or is it a combination of both?
Pretty sure Yaley gets up right about here. This car on the bottom. And then he gets the 24 come in there. He's just in that pocket where you don't have a lot of air blowing on your car.
Boys, I call it hard racing with 6 laps to go.
Yeah, I don't put any blame on anybody. That's just we saw it. You see that coming at the end of this race.
The simple explanation of whether Biffle turned down or Yaley.
Just jump out right there. Guys, you did a good job. Jeff, you drove a great race, man. That's what we can do about that. Cookie, take your helmet, run down there and just see if there's no rotor on it. Well, no, don't. They're going to complain. You're too far on the track. Don't worry about it.
Say J.J. Yaley was at no fault whatsoever.
No, J.J. didn't do anything. He
not at all.
Right there, you see it perfectly clear. And Jeff Gordon, again, kind of like the 43 car was, just on the outside of a car at the wrong time.
And Darrell, that's probably why when you look at some of these cars that were involved, I question the 4 tires that late in the race put you that far back.
The best you can. We got wrecked off of 2, guys.
Well, I don't know how many tires Tony Stewart took.
He's went to the front.
It didn't hurt him.
No, it has not. That's exactly right.
Yeah, John, that's a hard thing for Jeff Gordon.
Gordon said the right front was done, and he had no brakes. He has climbed out. of the Pepsi DuPont Chevrolet.
And Denny Hamlin, who is trying to get back into the top 10, Jeff knocked him out last week. He's sitting there in 10th place right now. So there could be a little movement around the bottom of the bottom 10
guys
right
now,
in the chase.
You're right, Darrell. Hamlin will move back into the top 10, displacing last week's winner in California, Jeff Gordon. Sorry to interrupt Bobby Labonte explaining what happened to him in the wreck with Jimmy Johnson. But now let's go back to the garage and Steve.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Appreciate it. Bobby, again, I was asking you how disappointed after a great team effort to be here in the garage.
Still disappointing since the first time you talked to me a while ago. It's just very frustrating. You know, the guys in the Cheerios, Betty Crocker Dodge, did a great job. You know, we didn't qualify that good, but we knew Friday afternoon we had a good race car, and or Thursday afternoon we had a good race car. You know, just ran consistent and steady, and didn't do anything wrong. We don't think any throughout there. And then we just got, up there close to the wall in turn 3. I'm not sure what happened below us, but, obviously the 48 car was there, and I don't know if somebody got into him or got him loose. But we collected the wall, and, he collected us, and, that was our night. But the guys did a good job, a great job. The guys in the Fab Shop were great. We're getting there, It's just that stuff like this really makes it hard on us.
Thanks for your patience. Thanks, Bobby.
Jimmy Johnson with damage from the earlier crash still on the lead lap. There are 36 cars on the lead lap. You see Carl Edwards still with problems as he comes out of the pits. Now he came out to stay on the lead lap, and he'll likely come back in the pits next time around.
And let's talk about what we've got here now. We're going to have 3 laps to go when we get the green flag as we see Jeff Gordon's car, the 24 car, being towed in. But let's talk. I honestly believe that this caution may have been good for Boris Said and for Casey Mears. The reason I say that group of cars behind them were lined up with 4 fresh tires, and they were coming. So actually, I don't know that move by staying out by Frankie Stoddard, the 60 car, or Donnie Wingo in the 42 car is going to win the race for them. But I think maybe these caution laps are buying them some time. It will be a single file restart.
Do you remember what Boris Said promised Dick Berggren he would do if he won this race?
He would
shave his head.
Shave his head.
Mow is a good term.
Yeah, mow it.
He has the big curly locks. Well, Dick Berggren, do you have the razor and the shaving cream ready?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. But I'll tell you what, Mike, they've all been chasing Tony Stewart since these cars arrived at Daytona a few days ago. Stewart won the first practice, qualified on the outside of the front row, and has largely dominated the race tonight, leading more laps than anybody else. Currently riding in second spot. He just told his crew he can tell that Boris Said in front of him is nervous just by the way he is driving the car under these caution flags. So, will the race go to the guy that has got virtually no restrictor plate experience, Boris Said, currently in the lead, or Tony Stewart, the guy who has already won here at Daytona 8 times?
I think Tony needs to pull up beside of him and see what's written on the quarter panel, because that's Boris Said.
No fear.
No fear. I don't think he's nervous. He isn't. The car might be.
Last week at Infineon Raceway, the Dodge Save Mart 350, those two got into a bit of a shoving match, and Tony moved Boris out of the way because he didn't like the way Boris passed him earlier.
That's why Tony thinks Boris is nervous. He looks back and he sees who's behind him.
I was going to tell you, so if you want to talk about no fear, that kid back there in third, Kyle Busch in that 5, and he has 4 fresh tires too, and he is hungry to win a race. It's going to get exciting. Remember what I always tell you? You better reach up there and pull those belt tightens one more time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Casey Mears 4th, Kurt Busch 5th, Jamie McMurray 6th. They will green flag this race with 3 laps to go. Now, they were telling Boris Said that Tony Stewart was laying back. I don't know. Stewart's got to go a ways to catch Boris Said now.
That's going to be borderline on that 38 car. He was definitely below the yellow line.
He was below the yellow line. He would like to give that spot back, Larry, but he can't.
No, they're breathing down his neck.
Boris Said comes off turn 2 with a big lead, but that's not good.
If somebody jumps out, here you go. This is what's good right here. If these guys behind you will start racing.
But I guarantee you, Tony Stewart in that 20 car, he knows he can't get far off the bottom, but he's going to have to go to the top if he wants to go around Boris Said. Boris puts a block on him. There comes Kyle Busch in the 5 to the bottom. He's going to push Boris.
2 laps to go.
Now here's where Boris might be a little bit nervous.
Said and Stewart side by side. Stewart has help.
2 to go.
How would you like to be used to turning off into the infield right down there, but you're running 190 mile an hour and you can't?
Said slips to third. The glass slipper almost fit.
Listen, he has got his hands full. There's no question about that. That car, we know, it's all over the place.
But here comes Kyle Busch's brother, Kurt Busch, up there to push his brother, the 5 car, Kyle.
Watch Boris's car. He just wants to wheel his walk up the racetrack with him. He's just chasing it. He doesn't need anybody up behind him.
Well, blood is thicker than water, but most brothers in racing would rather beat their own brother than anybody else. How about the Busch brothers?
Well, we're going to find out here, boys. It's 1 to go, and the Busch boys are in hot pursuit.
And here comes Matt Kenseth in that 17 car on the high side. He's getting help from his teammate McMurray in the 26.
Kenseth has never won here, but he's taking the long way around on the outside.
Now just remember, it gets really tense coming down the back right here. You start blocking.
3 in turn 3. Caution is out.
Caution is out. Will we go to overtime or will the checkered flag wave?
That's it. We were in a white flag lap.
We took the white flag. We took the white flag.
The field is frozen at the moment of caution. The yellow flag waves as they come toward the finish line. Tony Stewart and the Home Depot Chevrolet will score the second win of 2006 and the 26th career victory for Stewart.
But I'm going to tell you what, regardless of the circumstances, the caution laps that were there, the race ended under caution. How about Boris said? Sat on the pole, a top 5 finish, and a great call by Frank Stoddard, his crew chief.
Wasn't it Frank Stoddard that made him write a new rule in the All-Star race?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that when he pitted and just crossed the line and took the lead?
Better to be a rule maker than a rule breaker.
And I think this should help them sell more cases now.
And run more races. You got to hand it to Stewart. Starting Thursday night here, when he thoroughly dominated the International Race of Champions, putting on a driving clinic on the infield road course. And he ran last night's Busch Series race. And here he is going to victory lane for the second time this weekend.
It appears to me the more he races, the better he gets. And I tell you, I saw him get in that car before the race started. We had a camera on him, and he was grimacing getting down in that race car. It's been 3 hot nights here, guys.
Now let me see, was it not about a year ago, this is where Tony Stewart started climbing fences?
As a matter of fact, it was. Carl Edwards sped past the whole pack at the start-finish line, and he has been invited to a discussion with the NASCAR officials.
I think he was trying to stay on the lead lap, what he was trying to do. But you can't, you got to run pace. The field is frozen, so it wasn't doing any good.
Tell you somebody else that's going to enjoy this night. Matt Kenseth unofficially finishes 6th, and unofficially that will put him within 10 points of points leader Jimmy Johnson, who had a rough night in that 48 car.
Yeah, and Jeff Gordon finished 40th, knocked him back out of the top 10.
Tony Stewart is becoming the master of plate racing, restrictor plate racing at Daytona and Talladega. And I like this, window net down, driver's side to salute the crowd as he comes to the flag stand.
Yeah, I don't believe we're going to see any fence climbing tonight. That wing might be all right, but I don't think I'd want to test it. Give me the flag like I used to do back on the dirt tracks in Indiana.
I think he might come out, Darrell.
Think he's going to?
He's coming out.
Oh, well. He's got a lot of backups to come over here and help him. Here comes the whole team.
I watched him swing that hammer about 2 weeks ago at Michigan.
They built that fence for the same reason there are mountains, to climb.
Here he goes. Did you see him look up and say, how high is this fence anyway?
He scaled that thing pretty rapidly.
Well, he did. That's what winning will do for you.
Tony Stewart climbs the fence and captures the flag.
Yes. Nice job, buddy. The smoker.
That is his signature salute to the fans of this sport.
And I think there's a lot of reasons he's happy about this right here, because when you look back at his last 6 races, he has only had one top 10 finish.
Well, and Larry, think about this. He's won 4 of the next 6 races, and counting tonight. Last year he won 4 of the last 6 races, counting tonight. So this is his time, baby. And he's over in the crowd.
He's in amongst them.
Now that, I don't know if that's a good idea or not.
Hey, this fella's hot. Everybody wants a piece of Tony Stewart. We'll find Stewart in victory lane next.
If you all went down here right now, it's me and Frank. Pullman's here.
You are watching NASCAR In Car, exclusively on digital cable. American Revolution.
Fireworks on this 4th of July weekend, and welcome to the next tell from Sprint post-race show, the Pepsi 400, won by Tony Stewart, leading a series of times 86 of the laps out of 160. And Chevy congratulates Tony Stewart and the 20 car Monte Carlo SS, another great team victory for Chevy. 25 of the last 43 NASCAR Manufacturers Championships and counting. Chevy on American Revolution. Caution out with 3 laps to go, and with Kyle Busch behind him, the push. Tony Stewart passing Boris Said, who wound up 4th, as Tony Stewart pulls into victory lane, describing Daytona as a 190-mile-per-hour traffic jam and a chess game with 43 players. Is what he talked about this race coming in. He called it a constant juggling match, trying to figure out where you need to be, who you need to go with, and in the end, he captured the flag. And like a rock star in the mosh pit, Tony mixing it up with some folks and some fans and his crew, almost looking like an NFL team here, helping to get him through the crowd. Here's a guy who had a broken shoulder blade. Remember, needed a relief driver at one stretch, toughed it out, and is back in victory lane at the Pepsi 400.
Coach said, give him the ball, and they've got it.
We had a record, a Pepsi 400 record, 15 different leaders, 29 lead changes. Late, Boris Said had that lead. Looked like he might pull it off. Let's check in with Boris Said and Matt Yoakum.
The most popular guy on pit road, Chris Myers, is Boris Said. What does this mean for you and this team? Only 2 races under your belt.
It's awesome. I mean, it just says so much about the quality stuff we have at the Sobe No Fear Energy Drink Racing Team. Got great sponsors with Dollar General coming on board for a few races. Frank Stoddard did a great job leading these guys. We got great resources back at the shop. The guys that put this body on at Roush Racing, you know, they're the real heroes in this. And the guys
what about the driver? You had a heck of a drive from the back.
I just held it wide open those last 15 laps, and anyone could have done that in this car. But the engine was awesome. Everyone at Roush Yates, I appreciate it. It's the best equipment I've ever been in, and it's the highlight of my racing career. And I just feel like Rocky Balboa in the 15th round. I feel like I won. And hopefully we can get some momentum, get our fans out there to start back in our Sobe No Fear energy drink and stop buying Red Bull and those other nonsense brands. And if we sell more cases, we're going to do more races. So that's our motto.
Going to try to do more races. He felt like it was a win. Now let's go to victory lane and Dick Berggren.
And Tony Stewart has finally arrived in victory lane, but he is still trying to catch his breath in victory lane. So it's tougher to drive the car. Oh, he's going to come out. All right, come on out, Tony. This guy he's into extended celebration tonight. And why not after what he has done? All right, my friend, was it harder to drive the car to win the race, or was it harder to climb that fence?
It's harder to climb the fence. About 2 to go. I thought, man, maybe I ought to let somebody else go around here and let them climb it this time. But I can't do that, though. It's I'm so proud of all these guys. These guys are the ones that made it happen. It's not me. You know, we go to these restrictor plate races. It's Greg Zipadelli and everybody on this Home Depot team. They do such a good job, and all of Home Depot corporate supports us 100%. Coca-Cola and just everybody involved with this. They've done such a good job, and it's been a long weekend. It's been a long, hot weekend. I cannot wait to get out of here.
A little bit over a year ago, you were hardly a fan favorite. Then you won the Pepsi 400 here at Daytona, climbed the fence, went on to win more races and a championship. And now the fans love Tony Stewart. How big is that for you?
It's cool, and they may call this Pepsi 400, but Coca-Cola still tastes a hell of a lot better. So I'm going to drink this the rest of my life, whether I'm sponsored by them or not. So always have, always will. But, you know, it's so cool. I mean, that's the best thing in the world is climbing up that fence and getting to that flag stand. And it doesn't matter what shirts they got on or what hat. They're all cheering up there. And I made the mistake of going down the ladder, thought there was a gate there. Didn't find the gate and was in the mosh pit for a while. So I'm pretty sure I'm not cut out for punk rock bands anytime soon. But man, it's awesome. This team needed us. We've had two really rough weeks the last couple weeks with Michigan and Sonoma. So it's nice to finish this one off here.
Congratulations to you, Steve.
Thank you, Dick. Jeff Gordon coming off a great win on the road course at Sonoma. What unfolded in front of you tonight, Jeff?
Well, you know, we had guys out there that had no tires, some 2, some 4, and we had 4, and the car was handling great. My guys just did an awesome job tonight. I mean, in the pits and getting the car dialed in, because we weren't that great yesterday, and we were just working our way up through there. It was getting dicey and crazy, and the 18 was backing up in the middle, and I got to the outside, and the 16 was going around them, and it just turned down on them. You know, there were so many guys that were complete idiots out there, and I want to badmouth every one of them, but I'm not going to because you know, I guess if I don't have anything nice to say, I shouldn't say anything at all. But, you know, it was just unfortunate we got caught in it because, you know, the DuPont Pepsi Superman Return Chevrolet was awesome tonight. And I don't know if we had a shot at Tony, but we definitely had a shot at top 3 or 4. And, you know, I just hate that they got cut short by guys just being stupid.
Thank you, Jeff. Chris?
All right, thanks, Steve. Wow, so the Cola War is on. We had the energy drink in the mix, and let's go up to Darrell, Larry, and Mike. And Darrell, you remember when Tony was with our pre-race show, the Hollywood Hotel, he said you had to climb that fence next time he pulled into victory lane, so we'll wait for you.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
Yes, I will. Maybe next year. Maybe next year.
Well, Jeff Gordon falls to 12th in the points. He drops 4 spots. Tony Stewart climbs 2 with his victory night, and Boris said gets to play that old CSNY tune, Almost Cut My Hair.
Last week, we saw a gutsy call by a crew chief. Felipe Lopez got his man a 3rd place finish. Tonight, another gutsy call by a crew chief, Frankie Stoddard, got his man a 4th place finish. You crew chiefs sometimes earn your money, you know it?
Well, I think what you've got to look at Frankie Stoddard as well as Donnie Wingo with Casey Mears. Remember, Casey Mears was in a backup car. He made that call as well. But at the top of the show, Mike, we talked about pit crews. We talked about teams. You look at Kurt Busch that sat there and finished 3rd. That group changed their battery. Elliott Sadler's group, Matt Kenseth's group had problems on pit road, and all of those cars rebounded for top 10 finishes.
Yeah, the race went exactly like you expected. It started off a little crazy, settled down, ended a little crazy.
Let's have a look at the Nextel Cup standings as we move into the second half of the season. Matt Kenseth within 13 of Jimmy Johnson. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Casey Kane, Tony up to 5th. Kyle Busch pops up into 8th place in the points from 12th. Kevin Harvick stays. Denny Hamlin adds into a very crowded fight for the top 10 as we head toward the chase for the Nextel Cup. Chris Myers.
All right, Mike, Darrell, Larry, nice working with you guys throughout the first half of the season. Look forward to the next 8 Daytona 500s. It'll be a good year for years to come. Our aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear Eagle Tires with carbon fiber technology for enhanced handling and performances. Fireworks a little early on July 1st, but celebrating the 4th of July weekend. Well, Jeff, he's a 2-time champ, so you expect Tony Stewart, when we listed all those restrictor plate racers and people voted on him, we didn't have his name on the list. I think we're going to have to include him.
I think you better, Chris. I mean, obviously he's got this thing figured out pretty well. He's been strong at Daytona in February. Again, he won this race a year ago, but he came back tonight. And this car, I mean, right there at the end, they came in and Greg Zipadelli put 4 tires on this race car. A lot of guys stayed out. Some of them put on 2, but in the end, a good handling race car. He dove to the bottom and held off the rest of the field.
You heard Jeff Gordon say he didn't think he had the car to win it. What about Dale Earnhardt Jr.?
They're still struggling right there, Chris. I mean, the car didn't work as good as it did last night. He couldn't keep up like he needed to. Obviously, the handling package wasn't there on the 8 car tonight when it really counted, but he still salvaged, you know, a top 15 finish, and it did move him back up in the points to 3rd. So it wasn't totally a disastrous night for him, but they do have some work to do.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. winding up 13th, and we saw Greg Biffle and Jeff Gordon both get bumped out of the top 10 in points as that chase for the championship inches just a little bit closer. For Tony Stewart, though, his 2nd straight Pepsi 400 win. And promotional consideration provided by these fine people. Tony Stewart, the winner, Kyle Busch and Kurt Busch winding up second and third. Fox, the home of the next 8 Daytona 500 races. Until then, enjoy Major League Baseball and the NFL. For our entire entourage, I'm Chris Myers. Thanks for watching NASCAR on Fox.